Okay, calculating key signatures. So if I'm on a bandstand and someone tells me that this tune is in the key of, I don't know, B major, and that it goes 3 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 1 chord, I've got to know those chords. I've got to know that the 3 chord is a D sharp minor, or minor 7, or minor 7 add 11, that kind of thing. But I've got to know that the root of that chord is a D sharp. Because if I think it's a D, I'm going to be playing a half step away from the rest of the band, and I'm going to go, what the heck's going on? And I'm not going to get the gig again. Okay? So I've got to know that. D sharp. Well, how do I know that? You wrote out your sharp major scales. You know that there's a D sharp in the key of B. Okay? You wrote out the circle of fifths, and you filled out the sharp side. So you've seen how the F sharp stays through all of them. Then the C sharp gets added in the key of D and stays through all of them. You filled out this guy, right? That circle of fifths. Okay? So all you have to know how to do now is to make that connection, make that calculation where if they say the key of B major, you automatically think 5 sharps. Okay? Now, here's how you do that. So if we look at the key of, for instance, A major, let's take this one right here in the middle. A major, I was looking for my pen and it was in my hand the whole time. A major has a certain number of sharps. Let's find out how we figure it out. So in the last video, we talked about how each new sharp was added to number 7. And once we know the newest sharp, we know all of the other sharps that have been added to the previous keys on the list or on the circle. So in the key of A major, if we can figure out what number 7 is, then we'll know all of the other sharps that have been added. So, key of A major, what's number 7? Well, just think of the letter that comes before A. The letter that comes before A in the musical alphabet is G sharp, G. So we know that it and all that came before it have been added. So the key of A has F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. Okay, let's try another one. How about the key of E? So if we're in the key of E, we know that we can go to the letter before it. So the letter before E is D, and we know that that D and all that come before it on our list of sharps will be sharp. So D sharp, G sharp, C sharp, and F sharp are all sharp in the key of E. How about the key of D major? Think about it. Go to the letter before D, and you know that it and all that came before it are sharp in that key. Okay, easy calculation to do. All right, let's try one of these because writing it out is also incredibly important. So if we have our A major, actually let's do one that has a few more sharps. E major. So we just discovered that E major, we need to figure out what's sharp in the key of E. We just discovered that if we go to number 7, which is the letter that comes before the 1, then we know that it and all that came before it are sharp. So if I'm in the key of E, I go to the letter before it, which is D, and I know that it and all that came before it are sharp. So I know there are 4 sharps. Okay, now, how do you write those? This is when you need to have this sheet, and yours will be in color. This is when you need to have this sheet printed out or available to you on some kind of device so you can refer to it. So if we have 4 sharps, they need to look like this: F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. Down here in this space, as you know because you can read music, the first space is an F, but we cannot put that sharp down there. That's not where it goes. Music God said so. Okay, so I'm going to fill this out. I know I have 4 sharps, so F, C, G, D. There they are. Okay, that's how they should look. We'll do one more. Key of D major. D major. What's number 7? What's the letter that comes before D? C sharp. So we know that it and all that come before it are sharp. We refer to this. We know that there are 2 sharps in the key of D because number 7 and all that came before it are sharp. And they have to look like this. Okay? This is wrong. That is wrong. Bad, bad. You'll be struck down, and your instrument will be taken from you. Okay? So make sure that you put them in the right spot. Just like that. All right. Happy key signaturing.